What's up, everybody? It's the Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak, and we have a special guest on the show back for a second time, John Abraham. Good to have you back on the show, man.
What's going on, man? It's good to see you again, Alex. I don't know what you got going on in your background. It look like the draft thing, but you working
Yeah.
it.
um, for those of you that don't know, man, John was a hell of a football player. Played for the South Carolina Gamecocks, played in the NFL for 15 years with the New York Jets, Atlanta Falcons, and Arizona Cardinals. Five-time Pro Bowler, three-time All-Pro. Hell of a career. This episode is gonna be Falcons draft preview. The Falcons, Arthur Smith is the head coach. Looking to go all in, around Desmond Ritter. What were your thoughts of Desmond Ritter last year, and do you think he can be the guy going forward, or would you still be looking to upgrade or bring in a veteran around him? I know they got Taylor Henneke. Is that enough for you, or would you be looking to do more at the quarterback position?
In the draft, I think it's always an option to try to get someone. Even if it's not in the first round, we have a second round. I'm sorry, the Falcons have the second round pick at 44. I think that could be a good pick. I think at one, though, they definitely need to go for an edge rusher. Somebody I like Nolan Smith. I don't know why. I really like Nolan Smith, but I think that Ritter, I saw him last year and I watched a bit of film on him, but I think Falcons want to be a running team.
Mm-hmm.
With Algiers and Patterson, I think they have a good running thing, and that is what they're going to base their team off of. So I don't know if they're really worrying about a quarterback as much as they're worrying about, they signed Lindstrom to a massive deal. Yeah. They have Jake Matthews that has reconstructed his contract, and they signed Juno Smith, the new tight end. So I think they're doing a lot of stuff and bringing him weapons, but also they did a lot to bring the line so they can have the good running game. But I think it's very perceptive that they have to get him to get Drake London into the process. Like, even if it's short 5-yard thing, I think he need to get 10, 8 catches a game just so he can get confident in being the number one. If not, I think they should draft receiver also. I think they should go out for a receiver or something like that, because there's no point in having this guy Ritter and not giving him the same opportunity y'all gave Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan came in with Julio Jones, Tony Gonzalez, Roddy White, Michael Turner. He came into a system that was, Matt didn't have to do too much at first. He could just throw it right to Julio for a 5-yard slant route, and it's going to the house. I think Ritter needs the same type of backing.
Yeah, and I was looking at Tyler Algier as a rookie, had an incredible year, a fifth-year running back, or a fifth-round running back out of BYU, and it goes over 1,000 yards. I was shocked to see that he was the first 1,000-yard rusher since 2016, and Devontae Freeman. And so I think it is good for Atlanta to get back to the running game. A big question that came out, I think with the addition of Odell Beckham Jr., Lamar Jackson might be trending towards staying in Baltimore. Was there any idea, any thought by you of thinking about maybe trying to make a trade for Lamar Jackson?
Well, if you paid attention to what I said earlier, when I was talking about how Aaron he's going to change the culture in New York. Yeah. Lamar Jackson would do the same for Atlanta, but he would bring years to go. So the franchise will be his. Yeah. Because literally we have no one really that people look at to see. We have Kyle Pitts, which everyone loves here, but Kyle Pitts didn't play a lot last year. Kyle Pitts didn't get the numbers they wanted to, like Kyle Pitts, because he was hurt, and also they weren't throwing him the ball. He pretty much should be your number one receiver when Drake London was being a young guy. Since he wasn't, we got to find someone to bring some more excitement to Atlanta, not just the Falcons, just to Atlanta, period. And Lamar Jackson, with his cultural, his cultural presence. People like rappers know him, and Atlanta is pretty much the rapper city. And not saying he's gonna bring like all that, but you saw how Deion kind of came to Jackson State, and people came to the arena just to see Deion. People would do the same thing with Lamar Jackson, and I think that's what we've been missing since Mike Vick. But we had that when we had Matt Ryan, but like we had Julio, we had
Yeah.
Roddy White that was a class name here. He was a name that, was a household name when I got here. Most of the people that I played with, the football team was still the team where everybody was watching. Now it's more like the Hawks. So I think that we have to do better in free agency. I'm saying as Atlanta, better
Yeah.
in free agency or bringing names. Like I think Calais Campbell is a great.
Yeah. Yep.
I think he was because I played with him in Arizona. So Calais, he's 37 years old, but he's a name that people know. And also Calais is an older guy, but Calais has smart. I guess he's smart enough to play in the 3-4. He can play in the 4-3, and also with him and Grady. I mean, him and Grady Jarrett, you have two professional guys that haven't been. They're pretty much the monarch of what the Falcons want. They want
Hmm.
those kind of guys that play hard. Always in the community doing the right things. So I believe if they can that's why I say I like Nolan Smith. He's from Georgia, and he'll be
Yeah.
a name that people know and people will wear his jersey and people will come to the game to watch him because he's a Georgia boy, two-time champion. Like, why not bring a guy in there? I know it's eight is high, and also, thinking about the past who you drafted, you might be kind of shaky of going on the DN that high. But at the
Hmm.
same time, as he can be a DN and also he can be an outside linebacker. And I
Yes.
watched him. He has once he learns the game, like once he learns the nicks of the game and the ins and outs, I feel like he will be a Von Miller type player.
Yeah. No, I love those Georgia D defenders. Like Roquan Smith, one of my favorite players ever. I like Nolan Smith a lot. Um, I think Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech is a name to keep an eye on as well. I think he's going to be in the mix. And would you be into, I mean, what if Will Anderson or Jalen Carter falls? I mean, Will Anderson probably less likely, but Jalen Carter could be there.
I think Jalen Carter is a nice fit. I think anyone would be a nice fit. I'm just
Hmm.
so stuck on Nolan Smith because of his athleticism.
Yeah.
I like I think the other guy. I like the other guys. I think we need a sexy pick. We
Hmm.
need a pick that, and I'm sorry for saying we. I'm just I live in Atlanta, so I say we as
No,
the
you're
city of Atlanta. We need a
good.
sexy pick, somebody from Georgia that'll bring it. And like I said, I've watched tape on him, and I watched him. He's like maybe 240, but he can run, and he's
Yeah.
always in the backfield. If you watch
Yeah.
him play, he's always in the backfield. And I think Jalen is going to be a great. Well, I think he's going to be a good pro, but I don't know if I see the explosion. I want to see a magnificent pass rusher for Atlanta for maybe the next 10, 11, 12 years. Somebody that can be a household name, and I know he'll automatically when he come here be a household name.
Yeah. You see a little bit of yourself in Nolan Smith. He's a baller.
I see more of Von Miller.
Okay.
I see I see Von Miller because Von Miller was so smooth with his stuff, like how he
Yeah.
moved, and he wasn't a big guy, or he isn't a big guy, but he
Hmm.
knows how to use his hand, and he's always in the back. He's always in the backfield. My thing was I played DN. I think he can play more of a stand-up guy.
Okay.
I can see pieces of Parsons, like Michael Parsons. I can see him being a Michael
Yeah.
Parsons type player if he learns the game. I
Yeah.
don't see any niche in his game because I watch him on the line. The only problem I have is he stays on the line too long.
Hmm.
Like he'll watch and then he'll react. That just shows how fast the guy is. That's exactly how I was in college. If I didn't know it was a pass, I'll be kind of slow off the ball because I'll second guess myself. But once I learned the game and learned like this is run down, this is pass down, this is it's second and 3. They're not going to pass the ball. They're probably going to run the ball, so I'm just going to go hard for the run. I'm not going, and they play action. Oh well, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But I think that's what I see in him. I think that could be magical and can take him to another level because I can see him in the backfield making plays. Like
Yeah.
the tackle for losses and having Calais and also having Grady playing ends and at a nose tackle. I think we have Amiata. I
Yeah.
think I said his name wrong.
Onyemata.
Amiata.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to
Mhm.
have him playing nose. And I'm saying I played with Calais. Calais will get you sacks. I was 14 years in the league. I was in my 14th year in the league, and I played with Calais, and Calais takes two guys almost every time. So you're guaranteed a one-on-one. And even
Yeah.
with Bud Dupree coming in,
Yeah.
I think Bud Dupree might have one of his best years if he stays healthy and if he stays on the field with Calais. Because him and Calais together, I'm saying Calais does a lot of work, a lot of pressure up the field, even having Grady with him. Because I watched Bud, and a lot of his sacks came off, just I guess hustle plays.
Yeah.
But I think with this situation, if he has the right people, like which he has, I can see him being a double-digit guy. And then also, like I said, with Nolan, they can work with him to do it.
Being a Falcons supporter, how do you feel about bringing in some Saints? DC Ryan Nielsen comes from the
I
Saints.
told you, aren't we the because Fontenot is from he was an ex New Orleans guy too, right?
Yeah. And you guys have Pace, right? Pace is an
Yeah,
ex-Saint too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the D coordinator is an ex Saint guy too.
Yeah.
So I told you it's the Atlanta Saints, ain't it? It
And
looks
then
like
you
the
got
Atlanta Saints. I'm like,
who was it? Caden Ellis and David Onyemata. Yeah.
I like Caden Ellis. Caden Ellis actually reminds me of a guy I used to play with, Troy Bierman.
Oh,
Kind of
okay.
like, 'cause I would say his numbers are better, but he's kind of he reminds me of him because he's a workhorse. He enjoys playing football from special teams to middle linebacker, defensive end, outside. So I think he'll be a good guy to throw into the mix and give. I think he'll be a crowd favorite, and I think he's going to be wearing number 55. So I got to root for him because you can't wear 55 and look like trash. Or I can't mess with you, bro.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Michael Walker, linebacker. I think he can be special. He's just starting out too.
Yeah,
He can.
I've watched him, but I haven't seen what you see yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Not
Yeah,
yet.
I'm not going. I think he's definitely going to be good.
Hmm.
But it's just like how they because it's changing to a 3-4. So I'm trying to see it as in a 3-4 scheme. And if
Yeah.
you have Ellis, Bud Dupree, Calais, and you have all these guys playing well, you don't have to play great at a middle
Yeah.
linebacker. All you have to
Yeah.
do is play good enough so you don't mess stuff up. You don't have to be a super leader when you have a super team around you.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then secondary, AJ Terrell, Casey Hayward, uh, D. Alford, Mike Hughes, Jesse Bates is a good addition from Cincinnati.
I was
And
going to ask you, how do you feel about Jesse Bates?
I like him.
I'm still getting used to safeties. Like now in the league, now they're paying the players that are good. They're not playing like the position doesn't matter. Like because I'm like a safety getting 60 million. I'm like, good
Yeah.
lord, I'm like he getting 15 a year. I said that's awesome. And then I had to think about it because in my mind, like you don't pay a safety that kind of money unless he's, like just
Troy Polamalu or
top
something.
level, yeah, top level
Yeah.
type thing. So I wanted to ask you about him because I watched him on tape and he's definitely plays well. And I don't see the Troy Polamalu, Ed Reed type stuff with him, but I see a solid player. I see a
Yeah.
solid, definite player. I don't see a Hall of Famer, but I see maybe a Pro Bowler or two if he
Yeah.
plays well and in this kind of defense. So I just want to know what you thought about him.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like not a superstar, but a solid player, worth the money, and a leader, and he's one of those who I think is going to be in the right spot. Like he's not going to make a lot of mistakes. And I liked that Bengals defense. They were underrated going to the Super Bowl, going to the AFC Championship again last year. So I like that addition a lot. I like Richie Grant as well at safety.
Richie
Um,
Grant. I was looking at Richie Grant. I didn't know if we was gonna still keep him. I like him, but he seems like a decent player, and I definitely think that Bates is gonna help him
yeah,
because I think Bates. I'm kind of trying to see what Bates reminds me of because he's not a linebacker type safety. He's not a free safety type safety. I'm trying to, because you have a safety sometimes, so I'm trying to figure out who to compare him to. But I think AJ. Who I'm rooting for this year though. uh Akuda. I'm
okay,
rooting for Akuda. I'm rooting for Akuda. I know that we have AJ Terrell, we have Richie Grant, we have Jalen Hawkins. Um, I'm I'm really rooting for him to come in and have a great year. He's still a young guy, and if he can have a good year this year, he can be a piece that we got for cheap and that can stay in Atlanta for a long time. So hopefully something flips and he starts to get the game,
Yeah.
and because this is a new chance for him. So hopefully he comes in, with just an open mind, and everything in the past is in the past. Hopefully he has kind of like a Marshawn Lynch type career. Marshawn was in Buffalo. He was kind of like, he was good. Everybody knew he was good. And he went to Seattle and he changed the whole game. He made his career something that we can be proud of. So hopefully he can do the same thing. Hopefully Detroit won't be something we have to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. I was very high on Jeff Okudah coming out of the draft. I was,
Mm,
and he was disappointing in Detroit, but he started to get it together, I thought, last year. And so hopefully he can carry that in, a fresh opportunity. You never know in Detroit. The Lions, they're better of late, but sometimes that's just a really bad place to be, bad
I agree.
locker room.
I agree.
So I'm a big fan of Younghoe Koo, your kicker. Very reliable and clutch. He's made a lot of big kicks. That was a great addition for Atlanta. Uh, Kicker of the month in December. So,
And
you
what's
know,
funny to me about that situation, he's probably the most popular Falcon here.
really?
Besides Grady Jarrett, I think
Yeah.
more people wear, his jersey than anyone. And for me, that is amazing. Like, your kicker
Yeah.
is the guy that everybody like, hey, hey John, y'all have a hell of a kicker. I'm like, first of all, that's not what you want. You shouldn't be like bringing up a kicker. We talking about football and everything, but kudos to him. But it's still
Yeah.
funny as hell that we're talking about kickers, and you're talking about the Falcons. Like, you have really no big names besides the kicker. So
Hey.
your team, your squad needs some more names on
Hey, it's easy to take the kicker for granted until you don't have them. I was at that Bears playoff game with a double doink. I mean, it don't get much worse than that.
it. So the offensive coordinator Dave Ragone,
Yes.
uh, I wonder if he's going to be okay with the running, and is he going to put more effort into the passing game? Like, I kind of like the short throws and let the receiver get yards and let them eat. I want to see Ritter go back to college, throw it 30, 35 times, at least, and then balance it off with 25 runs. You get 67, 70 plays in the game. But I
Yeah.
would love to see him throw the ball 35 times, get the receivers some confidence, get Pitts. Pitts is a 1,000-yard guy.
Yeah, you got to
Pitts in
feed
our
him.
mind, Drake London, I think he's a 1,000-yard guy also. They just need more confidence. Like first and second down, run the ball if you want to, but don't make him forced to throw it.
Yeah.
Get some early down passes. First and 10, throw the ball a little bit. Short throws, completions just like runs. Even
Yeah.
if it's the bubble screen here and there, even if it's a back out of the backfield. Get some yards, just check downs and stuff like that. Just stuff to give him some more confidence. Because when I seen him, I think he was mic'd up. He kind of reminded me of Matt Ryan. And not saying the Matt Ryan they don't have that fire. He has fire, but you can't tell. He's not one of these. He's a passionate guy, but not
Mhm.
as vocal as you would think a quarterback should be. And I think Ritter needs to get that, and I think he can get that from throwing the ball when you just let him go open. Just do what you do, bro. Like, we're
Yeah.
gonna put this package in. You got 15 plays, you just go, and that's what we want to see.
Yeah, I agree. If there's one spot that the Falcons could upgrade, I'm not a big fan of Dave Ragone at OC. We had him in Chicago for since 2016, and I wasn't a huge fan of him there. So that is a legit concern is trying to make Ritter a thrower first instead of just playing to his strengths, right? And
Yes, I think
yeah,
so. I think so.
yeah,
I definitely think that. I know it's a run first pass kind of thing.
yeah,
I can see Ritter being a good quarterback. Like,
yeah.
but I think you have to put, and I'm not trying to knock Matt Ryan, but you have to put people around him
Mm-hmm.
that can take the ball 80 yards. Like
Any quarterback.
Julio, you throw
Yeah,
the ball to Julio, he taking it. So
yeah,
you get what I'm saying, man. Like, you got to take some risks, how you did with how you deal with getting Julio and getting Roddy and getting Tony. You got people to help them out. I really think Jonnu Smith is going to help out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched him, and he is a bigger version of Pitts.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have, I think Pitts literally just dropped about 5-10 pounds, bro. Come receive. That's what we need
Exactly.
from you. Like, I don't care if you're playing the slot, big guy. Like, we just need you. We need you catching. We don't need you touching nobody. We don't need you hitting
Yeah.
no tackles. We don't need you trying to block. We need you out here trying to catch about 10 a game, at least 8 a game. I think he has the Kelsey type thing. He can
Yeah.
be that kind of guy, and he's
100%.
faster.
Yeah.
He's faster than him. He can line up in Z. He can line up in X, Z. He can line up in X, Y, or Z and kill you.
Yeah.
And why are we not getting the ball? I mean, why is the
Right.
Falcons are not getting the ball? And I think that's going to be a big thing for him, and definitely for his confidence. Because coming back from an injury, the
Yeah.
first thing you're thinking about is, okay, am I going to be okay? Am I going to be good for the season? Stuff like that you got to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking forward to the draft here. So at number 8, the guys I have circled to keep an eye on, Nolan Smith is on there. Also, Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech and Miles Murphy out of Clemson. At number 8, all
You
options.
like Miles Murphy? I watched him. He seemed super stiff to me. He
Yeah,
reminded me. He reminded me of, I can't think of his name. Lawson. You remember Lawson from Clemson?
yeah, yep.
Am I saying it right? It's Lawson, right?
I
He went
think
to
so. Is
Clemson
that
and went to Buffalo.
yeah? Is that Carl Lawson? I'll look that
Yeah,
up real
Carl
quick.
Lawson. He reminds me of Carl Lawson. I see almost the same shape. I don't see the hands and the feet as good as I see with Nolan Smith. I'm with Nolan Smith.
Shaq Lawson.
Shaq Lawson. There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm old. I'm old, man. I'm old. I'm old. Give me what I can get now. So Shaq Lawson. I kind of see when I look at him and I watch film on him, and I was looking, I'm like, they look just like Shaq Lawson. A guy that can play good in college, but I don't know if he's going to transfer as well in the league unless he works on his hips and his hands and his feet. And that's
Yeah.
3 things that you got to work on, not just get off. Get off can be taught, get off, knowing stuff like this. But I watched how he reminded me also of Jamal Anderson, and I don't want another Jamal Anderson type pick.
Yeah. Not the
You
running
want to,
back, the pass rusher.
no, not the pass rusher,
Yeah.
Jamal, not the 2A, not the 2A Jamal, the 1A Jamal. So yeah, but you don't want to get a guy. If you have a chance to get somebody, you want an explosive guy that stays in the backfield, a guy that can change the game. If you're
Yeah.
gonna get a first round pick, and I see that in Nolan, I don't see that in him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the NFL circles love Tyree Wilson from what I've been hearing, but I like Nolan Smith. I'm with you. Everything that I've seen from Nolan Smith, he's a baller. He's a dog, no pun intended. I would want him on any team that I'm a fan of. At pick 44, some guys, Trenton Simpson, linebacker out of Clemson, and edge Derek Hall out of Auburn. Two guys I have
Derek
circled.
Hall. I don't know too much about Derek Hall.
Yeah, he's a guy that could be available in that range. And then wide receiver, like you were talking about, there's Trey Palmer out of Nebraska, Rashee Rice, SMU, and my guy, Jaden Reed out of Michigan State, who's being slept on a lot. He's fast, he's got great hands. Jaden Reed could be a steal around pick 100, 110 around there, you know?
I think that'd be a good pick.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Why not try to pad your stats and get a guy that you in the league that he's played in the college? It's probably an easy transfer. And
Mm-hmm.
also you have cornerbacks, you have other people in there that's
Yeah, absolutely. So man, I can't wait for this draft. Are you looking forward to it? I mean, you went pick 13 overall. What are these guys thinking? Are these guys anxious? Just can't wait to get picked and get settled and
I have a very good story actually. I'm
okay.
actually the 44th pick I will be saying. So this year I'll be at the
Awesome.
draft and I'll be announcing the 44th pick.
Hell yeah.
So they sent me the thing. So I'm 44 years old. 44th pick. So it's the second round. It's going to be the second round. I was the second pick for the Jets, and it's the
Okay.
13th pick. It's the 13th pick in the second round. So it's like,
Dang.
and I was the 13th pick. So, that's kind of cool, right? So for
Yeah.
me, it's exciting for me because um, I've been going through, uh, I've been going through my like trying to change and trying to build my life back and, going through the concussion and stuff and just trying
Yeah.
to fix things up. So the last 3 years I've been going through sobriety, and the last 3 years I've been going through my mental health process. So for them to give me the opportunity to go up here and, for one of the teams that I loved, and
Yeah.
to be able to introduce the 44 pick and I'm 44, and
Mhm.
also it'll be on my 1,000th day being sober.
Hell yeah. That's
Ain't that
awesome.
crazy? Yeah, so it'll be on my
Yeah.
1,000th day being sober, and also my 1,000th day when I say my mental health change or
Yeah.
trying to fix it up. So my rehabilitation of my mental health. So all this stuff is just like amazing to me. So the draft is going to be amazing to me regardless, and especially just to be back around a lot of people. For the kids, only thing I can say is, man, if you ever wanted anything in your life, or if you remember when you first started this podcast, how it felt when you first did it, like you might
Yeah.
have butterflies, you might have had this, but then when you got into it, you was like, dude, I'm really doing this. Like
Yeah.
that's how it was when I got drafted. Like everything I worked for, like 4 or 5 years, even as a kid, I knew I wanted to be an athlete. I didn't know what sport, got basketball, track, football. And then I ended up being a football player and then going to college and having everybody saying, "Oh, you can," or some people saying you can't, some people saying you can, and in your mind, you want to, but then you might have a little ifs about it, where you're going to go, and then when your name get called, it's all about, okay, I'm here, I'm about to start my career. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of it's so many emotions. Even if you're going on the first day, second day, or third, it's so many emotions that the thing about you waiting for years, 22 years, you're waiting to become something because even when you're a kid, you want to do something special in life.
Yeah.
You have people that you idolize on TV. You have people that you idolize in your family. You have people that make and take care of. You have people that have been taking care of you that you just want to see, be in the spotlight. And this is the time that you might not ever hear your name called again in front of millions of people. So you damn right it's going to be something amazing. Even if you don't go like to the league, even if you just having your name called 7th round pick, so and so, Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, dude, you get your name called at that one moment in life. There's probably millions of people watching you and
Yeah.
seeing your name, even if you ain't talking, but my name was on TV. So, it's not, I mean, Instagram is cool, but that is a whole different type of monster, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you bringing that up, man. Like as a kid growing up watching the game, watching you play, like this is a dream of mine is to be able to have people like you on and talk with, talk football with you guys. And it's so cool. So I'm happy for you. Congrats on it's gonna be 1,000 days of being sober. That's awesome. Rooting for you. Like I said, big fan of your career, followed your whole career. So it's great to see you doing well, man.
No doubt, man. Thanks, man. Let's talk again. I guess we can talk after the draft if we want to, or and see
Hell
what's
yeah.
going on. I can tell you about the experience of being I guess me going back and talking about the 44 because I actually
Yeah, I'll be
the
watching.
dude the dude the dude that's picked for the 44th is going to be personal to me for the rest of my life. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm going to be on his side regardless. So hopefully we pick somebody that's amazing, somebody that's going
Yeah.
to be like have 15-year career with the Falcons and play forever. Because
Yeah.
I'm forever linked to that guy now.
Well, that's awesome, man. Thanks so much for taking some time to come on, John. It was a blast as always, and you're welcome on anytime. And we'll be watching and rooting you on when you make the pick 44.
No doubt. Thanks, bro.
Yep. Have a good one. Appreciate everyone that's subscribed and liked and checked out this video. Have a great week and peace out.